All right, so this is going to be a complete breakdown of basically top-down analysis and how to catch a swing trade. So I like to start off on the weekly time frame. So I'm going to mark everything up. It may take me a little bit, but this is exactly what I do. So let's start off by marking up the weekly. This is the last lower high right here. I'm gonna mark that up, put a LH so that I know that's the lower high. Then I'm going to go down and find the lower low, which is clearly right here. Mark that up. This is the lower low. So I'm looking for sales. I like to follow the weekly. So I'm looking for straight sales. Doesn't matter what else is happening. Go down to the daily. Let's mark up the daily. Right now, I would say it is in a downtrend, but as soon as it breaks this, then technically it would be an uptrend once it breaks that. But we'll come back to the daily. I mean, no, we'll do it right now. So technically, this would be the lower high. And once a candle breaks past this and closes past this line, it'll be now, that'll be, this will turn into a higher low, and then that'll be the new higher high. So forget it. We'll just go ahead and mark it up. So that is the lower high. Let me go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is just made a new high. So this is the last higher low. This is the higher high. So right now, all I have is the weekly showing bearish. The other two right now, this is showing bearish, but I can tell it's about to break past this and close above that, and it's going to turn into a bullish trend. And then this is clearly a bullish trend, making higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So now I'm going to go to the weekly time frame, and I'm going to mark up areas of structure. So one area of structure I see immediately is this one right here. So as soon as I come to the charts, I see this area of interest. So I'm going to mark that up. Then I'm going to put my round psychological level, which would be about maybe 32,000 basically. Do that. That's the round psychological level. Let's mark up one more. I see another one about right here. There's another area of interest. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another round psychological level at this area. And this one is going to be about 33.9. Put that there. And then this is the simulator soft for FX forex simulator. This is what I'm doing it on. So I'm going to go ahead and click clone so that it goes on the other time frame. So that's the weekly. So right now the weekly is a bearish trend. It's clearly going down. This is the two round psychological levels. These two green lines, and then the two gray areas are the areas of interest. I like to pick areas that were both at some point resistance and support. So this is area of interest on the weekly, and it's clearly a bearish trend. And I'm going to go to the daily, and actually, before anything, I'm not even catching a trade until I have a rejection candle from one of these zones on the weekly. So let's go ahead and fast forward this until we get a rejection candle, and that is a rejection candle right there. So I already have a rejection candle right here on the weekly area of interest right here, and at this round psychological level of 32,000. So now I'm going to go down to the daily time frame, and what am I looking at? It broke this line, so now this is now going to be a higher low. And then this is a higher high right here. So there's two things you could do. You could wait for price to break this higher high down here, and once or this higher low, and once it breaks this higher low, it'll now be in a bearish trend. Or you could really do this little area right here. Like once it breaks this area, it'll be in a downtrend. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to do it once it breaks this level here. I'm going to consider it a bearish trend. Then let's go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is, this was a higher low and this was a higher high. So let's mark that up. So in order for this to become a downtrend, it needs to break this area right here. So go back to the weekly. The weekly is in a downtrend. You see this lower high, lower low. Go to the daily. It just made a higher high. Once it breaks this area, I'm going to consider that a new low, or it is breaking structure once it breaks that. I mean, ideally you'll want it to break this, but that's way too far. So I'm gonna take this right here. As soon as it breaks under, it pulls back like that. On the 4 hour, I need price to break this area right here. So let's make this a little longer. And we're gonna wait for the 4 hour to go ahead and switch from higher lows and higher highs to lower highs and lower lows. So once I get a 4 hour candle that closes beneath this line, that is now going to be the new lower low, and then I'm going to have a lower high. So that is basically confirming that the trend is now switching on the 4 hour from bullish to bearish. So let's go ahead and do that right there. So as soon as it breaks underneath this last higher low, this is now a bearish trend. So I'm going to come here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go here. And this is going to be the new lower high. That is a lower high. So now we have the weekly lower high, lower low, pulled back to a weekly area of interest right here around psychological level of 32,000. It rejected the around psychological level, and it rejected the area of interest, and it's underneath the 50 EMA on the weekly. So that's showing a lot of bearish pressure. Let's go to the daily. The daily has broken this zone. I said once it breaks this zone, I'm going for sales, and it broke this zone. Ideally, you'll want it to break this swing low right here, but that's a lot. That's way too damn far. So I'm just going to take it from right here, this little area. This kind of made it a little support level. Kind of, it's really just an indecision candle. But once it breaks that indecision candle, and then you see the other time frames are both bearish, I'm going to basically consider this area. Once it breaks there, it's basically bearish to me. So it broke the area I wanted to break. So I'm going for sales on that time frame. And then once you go to the 4 hour, you see that it broke right here was the last higher low. It broke that area, basically confirming that it is now in a bearish trend. So what I'm wanting to see now is price to pull back to around this area and then give me a rejection candle. So let's wait for that to happen. Actually, it can really pull back to this level too. So this level and then this level too, honestly. So I'm waiting for price to pull back to one of these levels and then give me a rejection candle. So it pulled back to this level here. That is the original level that I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete these. It pulled back to the previous level of structure. So you see price broke right here. And this is the previous structure level. It pulled back there. And now I'm going to wait for a rejection candle. So again, let's go back to the weekly. The weekly is showing bearish trend. It pulled back to the area of interest on the weekly, gave a rejection candle. Is at the rounds. It basically rejected the area of interest in the round psychological level, and it's under the EMA. The daily, it broke this zone right here, and it broke this indecision candle. It closed below this indecision candle. So to me, that's basically showing that it's showing some bearish pressure. I went to the 4 hour, and this was the last. Right here was the last higher low. And I said once price broke underneath this higher low, I'm waiting for a price to break under that, pull back to the one of the previous levels of structure, and reject the EMA. And I'm looking for a rejection candle from here. That is a rejection candle, but that's too big. The stop loss would be like 80, 90 pips. I'm not messing with that. So let's wait for it to pull back to that area. Now, if I can get that is a nice rejection candle, and it'll be around noon. So I'm willing to get into that trade. Now, what I'm looking for is a shift of structure on the 30 minute. So basically, let's go. Let's go to the 30 minute. So yeah, right here, price made a higher high right here, and this was the higher low right there. When I say shift of structure, I basically mean that I want the structure to shift from bullish to bearish or from bearish to bullish. So right here, it is switching from. This. So right here, this was a higher low. This was a higher high. Once the 30-minute candle broke underneath this area here, this last higher low, it is now showing that the structure has shifted. So it has shifted from making higher highs and higher lows to now it has made a new low. So that is basically a shift of structure. So I have a rejection candle here. I have a shift of structure on the 30-minute. The weekly is rejecting this area of interest in the round psychological level. It is making lower lows and lower highs. It is under the 50 EMA. The daily broke underneath this zone I had by the indecision candle. It broke underneath. It closed underneath. It pulled back, and it honestly pulled back not only to this zone where the indecision candle was, it pulled back to the daily, or no, this is the weekly area of interest and the psychological level. So that's even better. It pulled right back to that same zone that I have right here on the weekly. The 4 hour broke this broke this higher low and closed underneath, and it did it on this candle right here. This candle here is the one that broke underneath this higher low, confirming that the trend is now bearish. I wanted it to pull back to this previous level of structure and give me a rejection. It rejected right here with this big ass bearish candle, but that was a like an 80, 90 pip stop loss. I did not like that. Now, at around noon on Wednesday, because this is 4 hours before the end of the session, before 4 hours before the end of the New York session, it has given me a nice long wicked bearish rejection candle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the stop loss. That's about 37. Make it about 47. Because I like to put my stop loss 5 to 10 pips behind the shift of structure, which would honestly be right here. So if you put it 5 to 10 pips behind it, it's about 37, 38. We'll do 48. Because you see the shift of structure, the top of it is here, this wick. That wick is about 38 pips away. We'll do 10 pips above that. That'll be 48. I'm going to enter the trade here, and then I'm going to exit once price gets around somewhere down here on the weekly. and I'm aiming for the weekly structure points as take profit because I'm trading on the weekly. So that's why I call this a swing trade. I'll go ahead and enter there, and then we'll let price play out and see what happens. Now let's go to the weekly actually because I want to see it on the weekly. And let's switch it to daily. And then right there it would have hit the take profit area right there. And then I am at, I can pull it up real quick. I can show you right now. It is at 98.2 pips. I won a little more than that. That's like a 1 or 2. I think I won a little more than that. I'm like going for 1 to 3, so it'd be close to 150 pips. So it'd be like 144. So let's see if we 141. Let's take the 141 and close it. Actually, so that's about a 1 to 3, and it's really that simple. It's not simple, but with the swing trades, you just place the trade, and you set it and you let it go. You don't worry about it. You let it just do what it's gonna do. And had a 48 pip stop loss and it hit 141.2 pips right now in profit. If I go down to the daily, you can see the daily is about to break this structure level right here. So I mean, it's confirming even more that it's going to continue down. But that's a decent 1 to 3. That is a complete breakdown, really, of how I entered these swing trades.